Hi, I'm Nate Johnson, owner and head trainer at Steel Strength Training. Today, I want to talk about a topic that's near and dear to both my stomach and my heart, and that's carbs. Guys, I'm tired of all the carbohydrate hating. I don't know why we love to just pick on one of the macronutrients like protein, carbs, fats, and just pick one of them and say we should just avoid it completely. You know, back in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, it was all about low fat. Guys, that's not good either. We really just need a nice balance of everything. Everything has its place in your nutrition program. So, before we get started on my 4 points, which I'll break down for you in a second, I just want to introduce to you two of my best friends when it comes to carb sources. We got pancake mix and ramen noodles. I'm actually working out tomorrow and I'm going to put down, I don't know how many of these I'm going to eat, 3 or 4, maybe 5, we'll see how I'm feeling, but carb sources are awesome, so I thought I'd introduce you to some of my friends, my favorite post-workout meals. Now, before we get started, I'm going to break down into 4 points what I'm going to talk about today. The first thing is that everything requires balance and that carbs are not inherently fattening. Okay, that's an important point to remember. The next thing I'm going to talk about is that carbs actually will help you recover quicker than if you were to not eat carbs at all, and they'll provide you energy for your workouts that you can't get from a low-carb diet. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is why I think that the timing of your carbohydrate intake does matter, and so it's important to pay a little bit of attention to when you're consuming the carbs. And then my fourth and final point is how your level of leanness or your body fat percentage is actually going to affect the way that you handle carbs, and going from there I'll give you guys some recommendations. So the first thing is, carbohydrates are not inherently fattening. Okay, so if you have person A who say they eat 500 more calories than they need to maintain their body weight every day. And say they get those 500 extra calories from nuts. Okay, it's a healthy food source, but they're high in fat. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's high in fat, and so 500 extra calories after a week, that's going to lead to a weight gain of 1 pound. Okay, and now you have someone else who's eating 500 extra calories from Twinkies. All right, now I'm not necessarily recommending Twinkies, but we'll use it for our example. Those 500 extra calories after a week is going to end up being with a weight gain of 1 pound. And so the point I'm trying to make is carbohydrates are not inherently fattening, okay? If you're overeating on fats, if you're overeating on protein, if you're overeating on carbs, it doesn't matter. If you're eating too many calories, you're going to gain weight. If you're not eating enough calories, you're going to lose weight. It's as simple as that, regardless of whether you're consuming a lot of fats or carbs or anything like that. For the most part, calories is the biggest thing that matter when it comes to changes in your weight. So guys, stop hating on it. Enjoy the pancakes when you enjoy them, and then put them down when you need to. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is how carbs will provide you energy for your workouts that you wouldn't have on a low-carb diet. So at rest, our body prefers to use fats, and that fat can be our own bodily fat if we're not getting enough calories, or it can be dietary fat from eggs, beef, pork, any kind of fatty meat, oils, nuts, things of that nature. Now, this is fine, this is dandy, but when we step foot in the gym, we're now performing high intensity exercise. And for high intensity exercise, your body prefers and really needs to be running off of carbohydrates. Carbs are an awesome source of energy, they're fast, and they're going to allow you to perform at your optimal level. And so it's important to make sure that you have enough carbs before your workout, and so that's why I recommend most people consume some carbs before you work out. Now, it becomes even more important after you work out. I would venture to say that it's more important to eat carbs after you work out because carbohydrates have an anabolic effect. And an anabolic effect is just simply, what I mean by that, it's going to allow you to grow, to repair quicker than you would be able to if you were not consuming carbs. So what's happening on a cellular level, you're eating these carbs, it's breaking down into sugar, then you have insulin, who is also not a bad guy. Let's quit demonizing insulin. We would die if we didn't have insulin, so we like it. Now, you can think of insulin as a dump truck, and that the sugar molecules are just going to be bricks that are going to help you, or energy that's going to help you recover from your workout. So after you work out, you eat your carbs break down to sugar, you have the dump truck comes up, picks up the bricks, picks up the energy, and fuels it and puts it into the muscle cells and the liver cells. So that's what we want, because we want this energy going to the muscles that we just worked out. It's going to help us recover quickly, get us ready for our next workout, and then any excess carbs that we have that's not going towards recovery and repair will be stored as what's called glycogen in both the muscle and the liver, which is just a carbohydrate storage system, which is going to reserve that energy for the next time you have a high intensity workout, which is going to be the next time you work out. Now, the third point I'm going to talk about is how the timing of your carbohydrate intake will actually matter, and if you time your carbs right, they'll work for you rather than against you. So, the number one most important time to eat is to eat the carbohydrates is going to be right after you work out. Now, it doesn't have to be immediately after you work out, but your first meal after you lift weights should have a large portion of starchy carbs. Don't be afraid of them, even if you're trying to lose fat. This is very, very important. The next most important time is going to be before your workouts. Now, not everyone is going to need to do this. However, if you're new to working out, you're not used to working out fasted or without eating carbs, go ahead and eat those carbs. That's very important. Then I would encourage everyone to just back away from the starchy carbs on your off days and any other time of the day on your workout days. And so by forcing the carbs around your workout window, your body is going to handle those carbs better. And what I mean by this is, since insulin is the dump truck, and it's going to have to put that sugar somewhere. It can't leave it in the blood. It's either going to put it in muscle and liver glycogen, which is where we want it. That's a good thing. Or it's going to go to fat. Now, the longer it's been since your insulin shot up and had to store that sugar, the better your body's going to handle those sugar molecules, which means it's more likely to be stored as glycogen, as the carb stores in the muscle and the liver, as opposed to fat. So, again, for most everyone, I recommend lots and lots of carbs after you work out, maybe some carbs before you work out, and everything else should just be fatty meats and veggies. And so it's pretty simple, and then you get an excuse to enjoy some ice cream and pasta and pancakes and all those other good carb sources right after you work out, not feel bad about it. Now, the fourth and final point I want to make is that your body fat percentage actually affects how well you process those carbs. Again, how likely you are to store it in the muscle and liver as opposed to fat. Now, for those of you who are very lean, your body is going to handle carbohydrates better than someone who's not as lean. So that's important to remember. The leaner you are, it's actually very, very, very important for you that you're eating lots of carbs. And then for those of you who are, more overweight and you're looking to drop off some of this unnecessary fat, you still need the carbs, but it's going to be especially important for you to make sure you're staying away from the starchy carbs, cutting out some of the starchy carbs on your off days. But I always recommend that most people start moving towards a low carb day on their off day and a very high carb day on their workout day. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it gives you a new reason to not feel guilty and to just fully enjoy anytime you eat carbs. And you can always use it to justify eating the ice cream on your workout days too. Hope you guys have a good one.